what I was ballyhooing earlier. It's a good enough email on its own, but it came with a sound effect which we shall play in at the end. And this was sent to us by David. And David says, hi, hello Candyman, the Thunderbolt of Italy, and Mr. Fastidious. We don't often read that pleases me. Knowing, of course, that all subjects remain open, I sat down to tell a story that addresses three of them. I've got three of them hoarded, three different stories. Don't talk to me about car parks, very small stages, and the world's worst hotel room. But before putting fingertip to keyboard, I realised I'd actually been sitting on one of the greatest of all sound effects for a couple of years. I know this can effortlessly join the show's golden audio roster, and it does, David, it does. Prior to the pandemic, I worked in a large open-plan office in Reading. Although it was a busy, full office, it would typically be, when it fell into total silence, that one of the most unassuming men from accounts would, without warning, let out the loudest sneeze known to mankind. Its volume was not only its quality, but it had a unique split-second build-up, followed by a quieter, painfully sounding after effect. Even if you were familiar with the act, it would always be quite a shock to the system, and people were never quite sure how to react. We were located at the end of a long office, with the accounts on the opposite side of the room. From time to time, in an attempt to show they were keeping abreast with the day-to-day workings of the business, the high-ups would come to our office and typically sit at the desks right next to us. I'm sure, unconsciously, our colleague saved up his best performance for when one of the directors was sitting there. And remember, everyone, we have evidence coming. Working on data, I needed the odd distraction to liven up the day, and together with my two closest workmates, we were obsessed with this sneeze and often discussed the desire of securing this explosive sound for posterity. We tried surreptitiously to record it when we thought he was just starting up, but we were never quick enough. Then one day, I started one recording on my phone, but forgot to turn it off. 3 hours later, I realised I might have caught the mythical beast by accident. There is no amplifier, and despite either being recorded from 20 yards away, it was finally captured for all time. Perhaps as an alternative to the foghorn at the end of the show, you might sometimes use this. This is it, David, I've been building to this. Now, you think, well, okay, I've always thought the loudest sneeze in the world, the fellow who used to be on the side of the tin of Hacks cough sweeps, used to have a fella sneezing into a handkerchief, and he looked like he was really going for it. But David has provided it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is actually a human being sneezing. And remember, this was repeated 3 or 4 or 5 times during the working day. Here it comes. Ladies and gentlemen, come on, applause on that one.
Oh my.
Gentlemen, and just in case you misheard it, here it is again. And here it is again. Now, what can we say, David? That's a human being. It sounds like a jungle cry. It sounds it's just extraordinary. And yes, that is parked in our audio library in the Golden Ark for ages, for the ages. Thank you very much indeed for that. And everybody else, I don't think we've heard the last of that to you. In fact, encore. What you got over there, Peps?